Yeah. Yep, off to a good start. All right. So how's it going? Yeah. That's I see. Yeah. I feel like that can definitely be a common thing like across all roles. Uh just having a hard time transitioning your lead into something meaningful. All right. So I think the best way to do this is I still have that insights one you linked me, that better quality one. Looks good. I think I'll just like screen share it and then we can discuss things while I would like make comments or whatever. But it says looks like I need privileges to make comments on it. So if you want me to comment on it, I mean it's okay. It's also probably not a huge deal to comment on it, but like I it could be useful, I guess. Yeah. I guess the nice thing about it is you won't have to like if you want to go back to like check something, you won't have to like look through the whole VOD. You can just come back to this and look for the timestamps or whatever. I'll just go ahead and turn on screen share. Okay, I'll try refreshing. Yeah, looks good. And also, is this like do you play with like your friends or is this like some sort of like competition you guys are doing or okay. Wait, like you mean like the voice comes? Oh, like like so like specifically targeted at you? Or are they just like memeing or huh? Yeah. And do you play on NA, by the way? Cool. This is just something kind of minor, I guess, but should try to watch jungle entrances when you can. I mean, you can't really, like see anything from this spot. One thing that's kind of good to think about during this time, or maybe like talk to your teammates about, is like how matchups might go or how they think they should go, that kind of stuff. Um, Now, regardless of that, things can always play out differently, like no matter how they think the matchup should go. So it's always good to keep up with how it's actually going. Yeah, yeah, for sure. It can make like a big difference. Like it can have a huge influence on what you actually end up doing with your time. That was good. Lining up for the Senna queue. Yeah, in general, I feel like junglers, one of the main things they could work on that would help their game a lot is just like working on that camera movement. Like, yeah, you want to kind of micro your camps, like kite them and stuff, but there's little gaps where you can look around with your camera. Although right now, like there probably isn't anything super crazy, but like let's say one of your teammates' health bars is like flashing red or something, you'd probably want to see what's going on there. Also, I wasn't really paying attention, but who's the enemy jungler? Let's do this. Gravis. Okay. Wait, so okay, so this is probably Yasuo bot? Wow, they have a really weird team. And okay. Yeah, I can just fast forward. And is this like a norm? Okay. Okay. Yeah, no worries. I mean, there's still always going to be things to work on. Doesn't matter too much whether it's a ranked game or not. Okay, so yeah, Yasuo and Udyr top. So, when you're doing your clears, do you oh, I forgot to check about like a leash. Yeah, so it's bot lane leash. I mean, at the very least, you could like pan your camera over to see if bot lane used mana or took any damage. I mean, sometimes they can fake it, but usually people won't really do that. And this, so far, this stuff's pretty much all minor. Like I mentioned before, I'm not like a jungle main, so I probably won't have like the deepest insight possible, you know. But I played a fair bit of jungle with good success in like pretty much like Diamond 1 Master North America. So, and I, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, yeah, that's a good mindset. Like I feel like what really helps me with jungle is I have really good map awareness. So even if my pathing isn't like totally optimized and that kind of stuff, um, I do a really good job of looking around the map, paying attention to the lanes, and that sort of stuff. Did you have like a specific goal going into his jungle here, or did you just like besides like just seeing if the camps are up? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fine. As long as you're thinking about that stuff and not just like autopiloting into the enemy jungle, just yeah. I guess another thing. This is like sort of small too, but like hitting the scryer plant kind of gives away your position, but it's not too big of a deal. I mean, if you think, or if you think there's a ward there, it's probably worth. Like if you think there's a ward where you threw it. Oh, okay, that works too. Um, I guess you use smite there just to get to this mid lane gank faster. All right, so this is one thing we can definitely talk about. Taliyah ganks. Like Taliyah has, you know, like her skill shots, her Q and her E are pretty easy to hit. So the main thing is like landing that W, and in general, as Taliyah, you just want to hold your W. Like if you know they have flash, you just want to hold it. Like in this position, I guess we don't know if Arya has charm. I don't know if Arya has charm here, but right here, Yasuo is probably already gonna have to flash. Like you don't even have to throw the W yet. You can just wait and throw your E and your Q and get your damage off. And auto attacks, of course. Yeah, Ari put herself in a really bad spot. That's not really your fault. But yeah, it was a pretty early W. Right here, Ari needs to be aware of wind wall and this creep wave. I guess this is an opportunity to use the pen. So like she walks up, she already auto him. So like all these creeps are aggroed on her. Nice drawing by me. All these minions are angry at her now, so she's gonna be taking a bunch of damage off of that. I'm still learning these hotkeys. Yeah, eraser's just E, wasn't it? Eraser. Okay. So she's already taking damage off these creeps. And okay, there was the charm, and that hit a creep, so that's sad. Dang. thinking, wow, yeah, this ended up going so bad, man. Okay, let me see. Also, did you auto tech first? Good, yeah. Always starting with an auto with red buff is good. I think you could have gotten another auto attack in here. I guess you're focused on landing the spells and getting around the windwall. Oh, I think you accidentally autoed a creep. Yeah, windwall is a very frustrating ability. But there are ways around it. I'm just thinking, because a lot of this is Ari's fault. Yeah, because Yasuo is gonna go on the Ari, so he's gonna go on the side, that side of the wind wall. She just took so much damage so quickly. It's tough. It's a really tough spot, but there's definitely ways this could have been played better. Oh, you know what? I think since it's Yasuo, you should E sooner, just in case he dashes through you. Like, I guess any champ with a dash, but yeah, especially Yasuo when you're behind him. I mean, his most common escape route is just going to be to dash into you. So the quicker you get up your E, I mean, you could even like just auto attack him and run backwards immediately to try to get him to walk towards you, and then you put your E somewhere where he'll be forced to dash through it, and then you know Taliyah E does such a big chunk if people dash through it. But yeah, this pretty much went the worst it possibly could have gone for you. So there are those things which I think are important. But that was a rough spot. And I'm also just thinking about this Gragas. It would be difficult to flash his flash here, but something to think about with this, whenever Gragas E's and he's like clearly out of range, you should expect his flash and you should just flash out of respect. Because this Gragas E isn't ever going to hit you unless he flashes. Even if he just E's in and throws Q, you're gonna have to end up flashing anyways, you know? Does that make sense? Or do you agree or disagree? Okay. Yeah, because any questions or anything you want to like debate, feel free to bring up, because that's super good, I think, for just like discussion for learning, because you know I could be wrong and you could you're looking at Reddit in the game. I'm sorry. Okay, I just figured you died and with the downtime you're gonna check like a Reddit thread real quick or something. Oh, okay. So straight up, do you do that often, like with your friends, like in voice? Like I'm assuming these are your friends. I'm assuming you're not just randomly. Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. We looked at a lot of things you could have done differently there, but yeah, to be really honest, the Ari played it really poorly. Um, so you were in a difficult spot from the get go. Mm-hmm. I Yeah. So far with that smite on the scuttle and the smite here, um, I would say you don't really have to use those smites like that. I mean, if you had two smite charges, I think it's totally fine. Yeah, yeah. If Gragas shows up somewhere, or like you want to go for Scuttle, which right here, um, yeah, top Scuttle is probably already taken, so it's fine that you're just clearing your top side. Yeah, and at this point, I'm thinking Ari doesn't really seem like she knows how to play the matchup, so I want to avoid that lane. Like even if I get that Arya lead, she's probably not going to win. And yeah, I might mention this a couple more times, but yeah, definitely want to work on the camera movement. Oh yeah, using the F keys, it's like it's something you have to force yourself to do, but it's so beneficial. Um, like when I worked on it, I literally went into custom games with bots on my team against bots, and I would try to CS and try to like use the F keys in between every CS pretty much. Um, and I just like built up this muscle memory, which is like super helpful. It's helped my map awareness so much because it can be kind of clunky clicking around the map with your mouse. What happens when like I use the F keys to look around is like my cursor gets to stay in the same position and I get to just quickly check around. I described this in a comment of another video, but what I do is I like, like I have my keyboard where let me see if I can make some sort of illustration for this. So like, this is like the F keys at the top. Those are the 5 F keys. And then I'll take my index finger, and my index finger is on F4, my middle finger is on F3, and my ring finger is on F2. And what I do is I just like roll those 3 fingers across those. So I do F2, F3, F4 real quick, and then slide my index finger over to F5, and then to finish it off, I press F1, and then I'm back on myself. So like it's actually a pretty smooth movement. It's not too difficult to do. It's just like you have to work it in your muscle memory. That's my method of doing it, at least. But yeah, working it into your gameplay, I mean, it's just something you have to force yourself to do because, yeah, there's no other way to learn it. You have to like break out of your comfort zone because it's like sometimes when you're trying to build habits like that, you're like, oh, I could do that, but I'm just gonna work on it in the long run. I don't really feel like try-harding on it right now or something. Like you don't feel like investing that much energy into working on that habit. But if you just invest a lot of energy on it for like 10 games, then it'll start to come naturally. Yeah. Yeah, but especially as a jungler, even if you're in comms with all 5 of your teammates, there's still things that you'll be able to see that like will be obvious to you that your teammates won't really communicate to you. You'll like see that like, oh, maybe I can gank bot here because of whatever reason, like they're low on mana, but your teammates didn't communicate that to you. So let's see. Yeah, pretty much. And it's because as a jungler, since you don't have to focus so much on, last hitting CS, you have a little more downtime. Yeah, you want to kite your camps and clear efficiently and all that, but it's totally worth it, even if you waste like a second, like throughout the use of like, let's say over the course of 10 minutes, if you're a little slow on your F keys or like you mess up your micro a tiny bit, maybe you waste 2 seconds or 3 seconds of time because you used your F keys, but it's almost like you're cheating because you get full information on the game. Like vision is almost like cheating because you get to see all of the information, everything that you can know, you do know, So yeah, this gank and this stuff, I do think is really important to like play your ganks as well as you can. It might seem a little nitpicky, but let me see. It's good to think about this stuff now. That way it just becomes like second nature to you, like how you should play ganks in different situations. Which this one, it looks like you played it fine. Although, what I'm thinking here is, this guy is going to get rooted. I would just... Oh, your W's on cooldown. That changes this a little bit. But I would still... No, never mind. Your W's still on cooldown when he's rooted. So that's kind of irrelevant. Yeah, there was. So, yeah, it does take a second for W to come out, but whenever I'm ganking a lane that I know has CC as Taliyah, I'm pretty much like hovering my W. Like I'll throw a Q, and then I'm like hovering my W key over that champion. But I can't really fault you for how you played this, I think. Maybe I can. I'm just looking at how we could have played this better, right? Yep, that's what I was just thinking. You aim this Q up here. Gragas was a little bit slowed. Yeah, if you aim the Q up there and you're running that way, because right here you turn to run down. Yeah, probably would have gotten both. So, but a lot of the time as a jungler, when you're going for ganks like that, you know, there are like those experiences that happen where you go for both kills and then you end up getting neither of them, right? So I guess it's just important to recognize the situations where you have a good shot at getting both and you can just go for it. And right here, I would definitely hard shove this wave right away because with where these creeps are at, pretty much any time where the tower kills off the melees and there's just a line of casters sitting there, this is setting up for a freeze for the enemy team. Sorry, I've been forgetting to annotate things, sort of, or like comment. Yep, exactly. Exactly. You see Yasuo mid, yeah. So I'll just do like a push this wave. Because, and does that all make sense? Because of where the casters are at, this is going to set up for a freeze for them. Yeah. Okay. First comment. Woohoo. Yeah, Gragas was super chunked. Now you're looking to get a ward in here, right? This ward, I mean, it's like, it's a little bit useful, but instead I would look for one in the jungle somewhere. Yeah, that one's good. That one's a good one. Yeah, so you had a second ward anyways, but then I kind of feel like that first ward doesn't accomplish too much. It's like, it's not really like bad, it just like, it could be better, you know? Because at this point in the game, I don't think you're too worried about like them walking through that brush or like, it's weird. Yep, yep. Yeah, that's a great ward. That second one you placed, great ward for sure. Oof, man. Ari should not be doing. Ari should just leave. This guy's dead 100%. Ari shouldn't risk this. From your perspective, going back to the start of this gank, let's see. Yeah, against Yasuo, it really just feels like the running theme is get the E down as soon as possible. And it's really hard to hit Yasuo with the W. Although right there was probably your best shot, so that W is fine. What I will say with skill shots in general in League is like put a little more thought into them and you'll hit them more often. I'm not saying you're not thinking about this W, but like if you really focus and you're like, okay, if I place this W well, then there's like, you know, like a 20% higher chance it hits Yasuo, you know? Like, yeah, make a deliberate effort to land your skill shot, you know? It can really make a difference. So let's see what happens. He should just die after Ari dies, right? Conquer healing. Okay, he's dead. Good. And this wave, I think you should have pushed because you have more minions than they have. So it's going to slow push into the enemy team, and Ari won't even get... Like, you're probably thinking you want to save some of this for Ari, right? Or you want to let your mid have whatever is going to end up left here. But since there's 3 casters and 1 melee on your side, and there's only 1 cannon and these 2 casters, like, this is going to slow push. And then this wave's going to stack, and then it's going to kill, like, the next wave before Ari even gets there. And we can just see on the map, we can see whether or not I'm right. Yeah, so it's kind of hard to see, but it looks like there's a lot more blue minions stacked up here than red. Yep, it's getting... Yep. You see what just happened, right? So like all the blue minions just went into tower, so that whole wave that was coming up next from the red side ended up just dying. And nobody got the XP or anything from it, or gold. Yeah. Yep, good. It's good that you just were around when Udyr was low. And just throwing a Q there is good. You know, some Taliyahs might go for like a WE for no reason. Yeah, just throwing a Q in there low is good. Did we see Gragas somewhere? I thought for a second. Yeah, we saw him bot. So red's about to spawn. You just killed top. I would have walked in and gone for red. Let me get another comment in here. Even though mid's losing, your top's you just saw Gragas like not too long ago. Right here at bot. There is one theory that like Gragas could see you dive top and know his red is spawning, and then he could ping his red and try to get his Yasuo to go there. But I mean, you have Smite, your Taliyah. I think you could kill it before the Yasuo like could really do anything. He might show up, but then Ari can come too. So I think it's right to go in here and steal the red. What do you think? Mm-hmm. Put that there. Yeah, you do have a good chunk of gold. It's right that you definitely want to recall soon. So you're not wrong there. But this is the type of situation where you could have milked a little bit more out of this advantage that you guys got top. Hate when that happens. You try to buy something and walk out. Yeah. I've gotten really practiced at standing on the very edge of fountain. Let me see. You can see your shop. Look at this. See, I don't know if you can tell on the screen share, but when you're out of range, this will lose its like green tint, this shop thing. So like watch this. It'll go slightly darker when you walk out of shop range down here. See? And now it's back up. And now it's gone. So like I'll stand on the very edge where that's still lit up. Like let's say I'm waiting like 10 gold to buy something. I'll stand right there and then I'll buy it and then I'll run. It's just, that's a very small thing. It doesn't matter too much. Yeah. Yeah, you see some pros have it down to like a millisecond where they know they need 10 gold. They'll stand at a certain spot in the fountain and they'll start walking, and then they'll have their item as soon as they walk out of shop range. I would pretty much never look to gank mid here unless you're 3-man or 4-man in it, just based on the way the lane's been going. And it's sad because you want your mid to like at least be even. Like you want to play to your winning lane, of course. I'm sure you've heard this before with being a jungler. Yeah, you definitely want to play to your winning side, and it sucks when it's the middle that's losing. Alcove, man. The alcove usage is coming into play here. Okay, the flash was good to kind of salvage what ended up happening there. You probably didn't need to flash to kill the Echo, but I think it's fine. It's like trading your flash for Vel'Koz's flash is it's okay, I guess. It sucks because you're against like Gragas, Yasuo, and as Taliyah, you're just gonna get, you're gonna get destroyed if like Gragas gets in range of you. Like it's a really brutal combo for an immobile mage. But let's see what you could have done. Yeah. Also, I think you could have walked up a little further before ulting to like block them in more with your ult. Although, nah, I think your ult's good because you just want to get there as soon as possible. I don't think it's worth going for the full wall. Oh, it's too bad. Nico missed her stuff, but we're not worrying about Nico. Yeah. Oh, I would. Yep. You should get a slow, whether it's your E or your smite, get a slow down first and then go for your W. Pretty much whenever you can, always go for E first. That way you get the slowdown. Sometimes you need the W first because they're out of range for E, but if there's ever a situation like that, then you should always look for the slow first. Or like, maybe I shouldn't say always, but like 90% of the time. I mean, you're doing pretty decent this game, all things considered. It's not like you've made any huge mistakes, but there's definitely some things that could be more optimized. Yeah, and this is why we don't want to play around mid. And this is something we knew ever since ever since that first gank happened. You knew you would not want to go back to mid lane this game based on what happened there. The first example of that, is not going and getting that red buff. I was thinking another thing here is you could have walked in more and gone for the wolves along with the Gromp, assuming they're up, which there's a reasonable chance they're up. Especially when Gragas shows here. Putting pressure on the Echo is good too. I mean, going for this kill is really good. So that's a good reason to wait in this brush. So I like this play as a whole. I like not just immediately walking in and going for wolves. What you did here was really good. But I don't know about sticking around. I mean, the plating, right here, I feel like it would be way more efficient to just go do his wolves or do your Krugs or both. It's probably better just to do one. It's probably safer just to go to do your Krugs and then recall because that Yasuo has so much pressure. Yeah, because it's the same amount of gold from plates whether you're there or not. So you could make more gold by doing your Krugs, and they get more gold by you not being here. So yeah, I would say I'll leave a positive note here and I'll say great setup to kill Echo, but farming Krugs would be more efficient than sticking around bot. Yeah, because you could have, at this point, you pretty much already would have killed Krugs and be recon about the same time. Oh yeah, do you ever do that thing where you place the ward level 1 and then immediately recall and get sweeper? It's generally a good thing to do as jungle right now because you get kind of like a the cooldown reduced on sweeper, and you get that early ward whether you get it in like this river brush down here or this one here. Right. So what pretty much every pro and high elo jungler does right now is they take their yellow trinket, they run straight out to river. I'll just make a little arrow for fun. And if you run straight there, you're not going to get caught. As long as you run straight there and place the ward from your range, then you back up into your jungle somewhere and recall real quick. Then back somewhere safely. Get the sweeper. Another thing this does is like just by having the early sweeper, like since sweeper is so good now, like you know, since it's like the full-on sweeper. I don't know if you like played much before they changed it so that level 1 you didn't have the full sweeper where you can walk around with it. Like yeah, it would just be in one place. That was rough. But now you get the full sweeper at level 1 and you can use it just to check around for vision, whether you're doing like scuttle or you want to try to gank somewhere or whatever. So yeah, that's something that could actually help a lot, because it could give you information on the enemy jungler's early game, and you can use sweeper to, you know, just look around for wards on those early ganks. So just put that comment towards the start. Let's see what happens here. Sork shoes are good. Pink wards are good. 2 pink wards, good. Yep, also just leaving base is good. You don't need to wait for your mana. Small things, but good things. Especially since you're not giving blue to Ari. Maybe consider giving it to Rise. Oh, that sucks that it's gone. Did we have info on that? We did see Gragas top at some point. I just want to see. Yeah, you can't. You could like kind of guess that he might be going in there, but it's still. There's not much you can do about this. I mean, you just walk in anyways. Yeah. It's not like there's anything you could do there. I mean, if your Ari wasn't, you know, like really weak, you could like ping assist when you suspect Gragas might be going in for it. Like when you were recalling bot and Gragas just did whatever top, and because Gragas knew you were bot, he knew he could go for that invade. I think at this point, you don't really have to use your WE to clear camps. You can just use Q. It'll be slightly slower. Yeah, also just in case you want to go for a gank, like if you see Udyr walks up here and then, you know, Rise has his W to lock him down. Like if Rise EW there and roots him and you have your WE, you guys could probably kill him or blow his flash. But yeah, at this point in the game, I think Taliyah's Q does enough damage to clear the camps really well. Oh, and I would also pretty much never smite in that situation. It seems like a lot of the time you just like use your smite to clear a camp quickly without really thinking about it too much. But I would say like the majority of the time it's better just to hold your smite for when you need it. Whether it's like a dragon or a scuttle crab, or like your buff gets, or even just if a camp gets contested by someone. Or, I mean, since you have blue smite, it's super useful for ganking. You might as well hold your charges. Even if you stack up to 2 charges, if like unless you really need it to clear your jungle quickly or something, it's fine to just sit on 2 charges when you have a, you know, blue smite, red smite. Which I guess, yeah. Yeah. This is actually a situation where, what happened happened to Rise's W? Because Rise in this situation should like hold. Oh man. I commented on Ari's play being kind of bad, but Rise should always just use his E and his W there to get the root. But he used W without the E being up. Either way, though, hold on, I think I have to sneeze. Yeah, so either way, when Udir's running up here, you should be looking for smite as soon as possible. Were you? It looked like you were spamming smite right there. Yeah, you were. Yeah. I think at that point your Q should already be going. Like right here, when you pass this creep, you should already have your Q going. Yeah. Yeah, keeping passive is definitely good. Yeah, but what I'm thinking here is like you want to get your W down at some point before he reaches like an area where he can flash to tower. It's whatever though. You played this fine. You got his flash. You were spamming your smite. Like you did a lot of things right there. I think you're a little too scared of Gragas. Because Rise has priority. Like I think you could just like start hitting him like with Q or whatever. You don't have to fully commit to like walking forward, but you could Q, you could like just drop the E to put it between you and him. That way you can just keep queuing him. But I think, yeah, you have a little too much respect for Gragas here because you still see Yasuo mid. This looks like it's still going to work out for you guys. But yeah. Okay. That was good. You could try to be a little flashy and like, well, no, I was thinking like predict Gragas's flash because if he doesn't flash, he's just dead for sure. So you might as well drop a W here. You'll see like some really high elo Taliyahs do that. Because like he's 100% dead if he doesn't just flash. Because he's locked in. I think that's worth noting. I'm going to put that in a comment. So, like, this is something that you don't want to do just because you can, but specifically in situations like this where either it's flash or die. Yeah, you also mentioned going to the other side of the wall, which does seem like it would be right here. Yeah, then you're here. Then you're here. Like, you don't have to risk getting Gragas ulted in a tower. You can just be right here, and then you can throw out your volley and your E, and you're just in a better position. Because if he flashes here, he'll still die. And if he stays here, Rise can finish him off, or you can finish him off, either way. So, yeah, I guess I'll just put, like, jump off your wall more aggressively. But be aware of Gragas R. Like, that's the type of thing you want to think about going in this situation. And make a real arrow. Yeah. Because, like, League of Legends, I think it's more about anticipation rather than reaction. So if you expect something like Gragas ult, then you know to just be ready for it, like to position for it, and it can make your reaction to it, like your flash or whatever, a lot faster if you already know if it's like gonna show up or not. Does that make sense? Yeah. Staying top here is like, I'd say it's not that good because I don't think you guys are getting tower on this push. Like, you could, but then you're both just gonna be sitting there. I mean, I guess Rise can just stay and get it. Like, I think if you're gonna stay there for that many autos, you might as well stay to take the tower, or you just leave in the first place. Because yeah, yeah, I think it's better to commit to either staying or just going and clearing these camps and doing something else. Or since Yasuo shows up bot, you guys could have gone for Rift Herald. If you had a smite charge, it would be a little safer, but yeah, so that's a lot of the reason why it's good to save smite charges, especially with the Rift Herald changes and Dragon changes. They're easier to take early now. So yeah, a little bit of inefficiency here and there. I'll just note for this. Either stay for tower. Like, the main reason you can stay for tower is because Udyr's dead for 30 seconds. It's such a long death timing. Or go clear top side. Or if you had saved smite. I mean, once Yasuo shows, we don't know this yet, but once Yasuo shows, you could definitely go for Rift Herald. Bad grammar, but whatever. Hopefully that doesn't bother you. Okay. Alright, Yasuo shows up bot. Bot's having a rough time. Sen is doing pretty good. You guys are super heavy AP damage team. I was just thinking about that. But yeah, champions like Taliyah, I think on this patch, like who can clear super quickly, get a lot of benefit out of just, like, let's say instead of staying for that top thing, you just went and like, you know, mowed your way through these camps and then recalled and then came back for red and then to bot side. It would be like really selfish, but you guys probably already can't play for the dragon because Yasuo's there and Yasuo is insanely strong. And as a champion like Taliyah, that's Yasuo is almost like a hard counter. Like, it's really hard for you to deal with him. Yeah. Yeah, the Drake, because there's an extremely high chance Yasuo's there because we see he walks in a river, dragon spawning, he's probably helping Gragas take crab. And Yasuo can pretty much like 1v3 right now. He's so strong. I mean, you could do some good damage to him if, you know, if you can hit him. That's the thing, like with all his dashes, and he's got PD. And another thing, I'm pretty sure he's level 11. Yeah, and you're level 8. So like, even though you're like kind of strong, like your KDA is decent. I'm not sure how strong you are in comparison to Gragas either. I want to see what level he is and what his CS is, like his items. Yeah, this sucks though. This is really rough because instead of, like, so just consider this. Instead of recalling and running bot and going to this dragon and ending up getting chunked super hard, you could have already done all your camps. You would have, I'm not sure where you would have been at in terms of levels, like maybe close to level 10. Not, maybe like level 9.5, like maybe like a full level. I'm not sure on this patch. Your camps would be set to start respawning, and you could grab the red. You could maybe look for a play top. Basically, this is a type of game where you want to make plays away from that one person on the enemy team. Like, so in this game, it's Yasuo, and you just don't want to associate with Yasuo at all because of how strong he is. The rest of the team, it seems like the rest of the team is doing okay. I mean, like, they're the enemy team. Like, everyone else is so killable. You're higher level than Gragas even. If you had done that clear, you would be like a full 2 levels up on Gragas at least. And that's without, like, imagine if you had gone and gotten that red buff earlier too. And I'm not sure if there's other counter jungling that could have been done, but like that red buff and then the full clear through all this and then grabbing this red, you would be a full 2 levels up on Gragas at least. So yeah, this is like a keep away game. You just don't want to fight near the Yasuo, and that's something you can communicate to your team as well. Like if Yasuo shows somewhere, we fight somewhere else. You know. And right here, I guess you're just trying to help defend bot, but it doesn't seem like it's worth your time. Mm-hmm. I see. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's a really low chance he ends up doing anything to your bot lane, and if he does, it's probably because this man's there, this Yasuo. So it just seems like it's not worth staying. All right, so now you end up going and clearing the raptors, and it's kind of sad that like your Gromp and your wolves have been up for so long, but sometimes that happens as a jungler. I mean, it's like it's not as big of a deal if you're getting kills and assists elsewhere, but for like the past, I'm not sure how many minutes, you haven't gotten too much done. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, I get that. I get that. So I guess you'll just have to work on breaking the catch up XP habits that rise off. Let's see what could you have done here. Yeah, I think this is another W. Yeah, you could put more effort into it, you know? But that's okay. Flash unnecessary. Ari has ult. Ari will for sure kill him. Rise flashed as well. Yasuo flashes away here. Yeah, so you think he's gonna run up, but then he just dashes through the creeps, and then you accidentally walk in the ult, I assume. Yeah. But your smite is still down. What was it down from? Was it down from Raptors? Uh yeah. You should treat your smite like, what's a good analogy? Treat your smite like I can't think of anything. Like you want to savor it, man. You don't just want to like just like use your smite on whatever. Yeah, sure. You know, like you don't want to just like throw it out there. Hold your smite. Hold your smite. Like it's not clearing like really any faster, especially at this point in the game. Like maybe it'd take you another like second and a half to finish that raptor off, but now smite is on cooldown for a minute and 12 seconds. I have to comment on this. I already mentioned it a few other times. I haven't commented on it yet, but don't waste smite. Just put it in all caps. Not because I'm being mean, but you really have to remember this. Yep, yep. I would say I would rather you just have held two smite charges like this whole past like 7 minutes than use the smite the way you've been using it. Because I mean, yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, it has a lot of utility. It gives you the chance to steal objectives. It gives you a chance to go for objectives and have your secure. Um, yeah, it's just great to use in combat. I mean, for Taliyah in general, Blue Smite is just so nice to have. She's already got great damage. You just need to be able to land it. I really, really like taking Rift, ignoring what's going on bot. Yasuo's there. Your team has no business messing with that guy. I mean, okay, maybe they're actually catching him out, but then again, it looks like he lives. So, yeah. Do not want to mess with that guy. Alright, this guy you're totally fine messing with. But see, like right here, if you just had a second charge of smite, you can maybe kill him. I guess, yeah, you're down 2 levels, but you're still strong enough. You could definitely kill him. Yeah, it's like the W difference here. Where if you had blue smite, it would make it a little easier to hit the W. I mean, granted, one thing you can do with champions like Udyr who just kind of run at you is like save your smite for when they're actually like close to you. Like I would rather just get stunned by Udyr and then go for a W than risk a W like at this range where he's got all his movement speed and like he knows you're gonna go for the W. Like he's trying to juke it. So this is one of those situations where you can just hold it and then maybe he ends up kiting around a little longer, but since you used it, he knows he can just run you down. This could also be a good spot to just press R and go for the knock-up. Like, well that would be tough to execute. But like as this Q is going out, I mean, in anticipation of Udyr autoing you, you can R because your R will still go off even when you get stunned. So like right as he's about to smack you, you know, you just press R and then you can get the knock up. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't think about it, but Taliyah R can definitely be used as like a combat ability. It's just you want to do it in the right situation at the right time or else you'll just look crazy. But hey, to figure that out, you should just try using it more in combat. Like don't be afraid to just press R if someone's running you down like this or like on top of you or whatever. But yeah, outside of that, yeah, it's really just the W difference there. Since he's level 11, that's another thing. You know, if you're level 11 here, if you had been a little more efficient with like pathing and whatnot, then you definitely kill him. Even if you miss the W. I like the ward buying. Maybe honestly it might not be worth to buy 2 at once because just in general, like below like mid diamond, people just don't really, vision isn't used as well as it could be used. I mean, you definitely want the wards, but like I guess something that's a little concerning is if after the game you see you bought like 6 wards, that's like however much gold, 6 times 75. I'm just gonna use my calculator because that's easy. Yeah, 450. That's a kill and an assist for 6 vision wards. Now don't get me wrong, if it's like especially as a champion like Taliyah too, it's so good to have a control of a brush and then someone to face check and you full combo them and they die. That's like one of the most satisfying things in the game for sure. But it's okay to ease up a little bit on the control ward buying. Yeah, there goes another smite down the drain. Yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from. Yeah, imagine this though. Imagine you're a mid laner and you take ignite every game and you use ignite to wave clear. Like imagine if you could hit creeps with ignite. You know, like I would not want my mid laner to use their ignite on their creeps. Now smite early game, obviously, yeah, use it on camps, but once you start to get to that mid game point, I would say from like usually from like 10 minutes onward, you know, you treasure that smite. You hold it like it is your firstborn child. I guess that's a good analogy for it. This Rift Herald's good because it can split their focus. Like they want the dragon, but they also want to hold mid. I wouldn't even walk into the jungle here. I would just hard commit to making that mid play work, hitting that tower. Although right here you guys are in a sketchy position against Gragas Yasuo. And you for sure, you don't have flash. You need to be clear of this guy. Thankfully Gragas commits to someone else. I see. I see. Yeah, that's fine. That's understandable. Yeah. If this Rift Child was already, you know, like by the time that Drake spawns, if Rift Child was already here, it's like, it's a little different than this. I mean, this is still a good Rift Herald, but that would be the type of Rift Herald that could force their team to split up a bit more if it was already, you know, like in that position or whatever. I'm trying to think. If you still had E, like I'm guessing you were looking to go for a W on him, but it's hard for me to say that this E is wrong, but when they kill the dragon, you know they're just gonna like rotate mid immediately after, and they'll probably look to fight. Like Gragas has Predator, and your E is a super long cooldown, so just using it like that to maybe get a kill on Echo, who still has ult, like this would have been the perfect opportunity for a W, you know? Well, yeah, because they just killed it, and you know they're gonna rotate for sure. Like, and Gragas is gonna Predator and all that. You can know all this stuff for sure. Of course, they're gonna look to catch you guys here. You're pushing mid. They're stronger. They have that super strong Yasuo. And like I mentioned that W, yeah, you would want to like max range it. You know, you'd want to max range your W and immediately walk away. That way you don't risk getting Gragas ulted. Sucks that this ground is worked. That's the sad thing about Taliyah sometimes. If you end up in these spots where you want your full Q, like, I mean, I would have tried to squeeze one in right here on this ground, but well, that might be a little bit of an overextension, because if you use like your E and W here, like I would just look for a Q somewhere, just for fun. But like, you know, your creep wave is coming, and Yasuo can, you know, dash through all the creeps, all that fancy stuff, like he's doing here, and he's just gonna kill Senna. Okay, that E looked like it was good. It looked like you knew the root was coming. You prepared your W. Yeah. Good job. Especially with Telegraph CC like that by your team, you know, you're just hovering that W key, ready to throw it down. That's good. Baron threat is somewhat real. Yasuo's dead though. I think it's slightly faster to recall right here, and then you get cannon XP, but it's whatever. How do you normally do like your builds for your games? Like, do you vary it up a lot, or do you tend to go for the same things? Yeah, that's good. Good man. Yeah, I think that's like, that's fine, but to me, like looking at this game, if Yasuo ever touches you, you're gonna die regardless if you have armor or not. I think, like that might be a little unfair to say, But I think in this situation where you're the one who's like kind of strong, I mean, I wouldn't say you're like super strong. Like your Rise is doing okay too. I would just go like pretty much full glass cannon to try to make sure that you can actually deal damage. You know, like because when you're behind, you get that feeling of like, I'm not dealing any damage, right? You know, like because the enemy champions are up on levels, they're up on gold, so they have better items, and then it just feels like you're getting outclassed in your damage. And even though Zanya's is good here, I agree. I think this is like somewhat of like an exaggerated game for the Yasuo, where like he's just so strong that it's not going to matter if you have Zanya's. And plus, if you take the time to use the Zanya's during the fight and you're not dealing damage, your team's probably losing the fight anyways. Like I tend to just look at things very selfishly in League because like you need to let me think, how do I want to phrase this? Like you need to be able to carry as hard as you possibly can, especially in a game like this where you're like the hope for your team. Everyone else has been having a rough game. I mean, Senna was doing decent, right? But it's like support Senna. Rise is doing okay, but really, I think if you just commit to full damage, then you have a better shot at winning this game. Because when you do land that Q or like that combo, like the enemy team is just gonna get destroyed. Yeah, yeah. In the context of this game, yeah, I think in general, I would say as like a general guideline, if you are like if your team is behind and you are the only person that's doing well, or you're like one of the only two people that's doing well, um, then I would say there's a higher payoff to just building full glass cannon than there is building a little bit defensively. Now that can change. Like, let me think. Like if you're playing against like a 4 AP team and like they have like a Syndra and a LeBlanc for some reason, they're both on the same team, and they have a Gragas and all these things. Like Banshee's Veil is like a no-brainer that game. But like in this sort of game, like even if you have Zanya's and you have that armor, like if you get knocked up once, Yasuo ults you, I don't think you're surviving from that point, you know? Like even if you have Zanya's, because like your team, unless things just like work out really well for your team, it just seems like most of the time you'll just die regardless. And like I don't even think you have to think that deep into it a lot of the time. It's just like if you're behind and like you're the only one doing well on your team, then just go glass cannon and do your best not to get caught and have a huge payoff when you do make a play. And sorry, I'm just looking at this W for the third time. It sucks because like he walks so weirdly. Like it definitely looked like he was just gonna face check, but yeah, I'm not gonna fault you for this. But yeah, yeah. I mean, if Vel'Koz walks into that brush, he's a really brave man. So you end up in this weird spot where it's everybody mid. Somehow Ari dies again. I can see, even though I can't hear this RA player, I haven't seen any chat from this RA player, I can see how much she hates Yasuo. Just based on this, dying here, she should have ulted an hour ago. Like way before this. That guy should have died. Even though he has his tornado, he's rooted. You should for sure. Actually, would he die? He's got a really good win roll right there. I'm not gonna say he would have died, but I think for sure, since you know he's gonna get rooted, just go for the WE. Like you see that Senna thing on him, just kapow. He might have died. Yep. Yeah. And that's the thing, since it's telegraphed, you know, like if this was a CC that popped up immediately, I would totally understand to not reacting to it. But right here, you know he's gonna get rooted. Yeah. That's a good W. You know, if you're really quick, you can get the Yasuo, but it's hard. I know it's hard to. Well, I also know it's hard to aim Taliyah W because you have to set like the way it pushes people and stuff. I've played a lot of Taliyah, so. Do you smart cast your abilities? Yeah, that's where you just press the button and it goes. Okay, yeah, so I think you do smart cast. So that's good. So for W, you just aim and then you like pull your mouse whichever direction. Yeah, okay, good. It's the best way to do it. Oh. I see. Yeah, I play with indicators. I would definitely play with indicators, especially for like your W. That's the main thing. Cuz like there's some Ws where you can put it like just at the edge of the range and you can like clip someone who gets CC'd. Like for example, I mean, I'm a Syndra player, so I think about this like edging out stuff a lot, like at the tip of the range. I was trying to find that W. Okay. It's way back here. So like your W, you could like hover it, and then you just barely get him like on the edge of it. You know, you can do it like right so that the tip of it's like right here, and you know you aim it like this way, and you just clip him. Like something that I see a lot of people go for is they'll go for like, oh, I need to place it here. You know, um like you yeah. Yeah, but when they're CC'd, you just edge it. You know, you can just get it from max range. Like you don't have to get the whole champion's body in the thing. All right, me and these hotkeys are not cooperating clearly, but okay. So macro is something that a ton of people mess up in League, all the way up into pro play. But at this point in the game, when things start to stagnate out like this, try to make sure your side waves are getting cleared by a champion and not just your towers. So like top wave right here, I don't see anyone going up there. And also since Baron's up, it's just a generally good practice as the jungler not to show bot when Baron's up. So yeah, I think would have been good to just run top here since we see Udyr pushing. I'm just gonna note this down too. So let me get to a frame where we see Udyr pushing. Yeah, so you're pathing. You should run top because Udyr is pushing and none of your team is going there to stop him. So like you want to go there to get the farm and to prevent the tower damage and to be ready for Baron. Side note, try not to show bot as a jungler when Baron is up. This case is like, it's not a great example for that because, you know, you can kind of see where three of their people are. Like, they're not just going to kill Baron right here. Yasuo and Gragas could probably 2-man it though with how strong that guy is. And Udyr, if Udyr's there, he could do a lot of damage too. I mean, they're level 14 and stuff, so they're strong. So yeah, put that there. But yeah, for now, I mean, you have Rise scaling, Senna scales decently, Nico scales okay, Ari, meh, like Ari scales okay. Taliyah scales decently. I mean, not very well, but she scales okay. Oh, nice. Rise killed Udyr with some help from Senna, so that's good. That works out. You probably already know, but you're a little slow on the W. Right here, your focus. I mean, like right as you see that charm going out, you should be looking to place W. Like I noticed you like adjust your positioning and whatever, but like as soon as that CC lands, unless you're under threat of something, like let's say there's a thresh somewhere around here with like a hook, then you need to be aware of that and like go for some cheeky movements. But yeah, right here you just want to get that W out. If that Echo had Merc Treads, I think you would get out there. Like he could ult out. Wow, that was some damage. This probably would be a good time for you guys to try to get some vision around Dragon. If we're all grouped up. Well, Yasuo goes in. I mean, he's really strong, but man, he's bold. This is a really weird spot because you have the option to go for the big shutdown on Yasuo or the chance to steal the Drake. Yeah, neither was I. So Rise flashing in, yeah, it actually made it harder for you to get it. Yeah, that's brutal. Oh, now you're in a really rough spot. Like champions like this, that when they're on top of Taliyah, it's so difficult to deal with. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking you want to go for just W there because you can't kill him, but yeah, I think you probably still end up dying. See, that's the thing too. Like with Zhonya's here, Zhonya's didn't do very much for you. Like pretty much any death from this point. Like if you ever have a game like this where you're not sure if you should have gone Zhonya's or Banshees, you can look at the replay and look at your deaths and try to figure out if it would have done anything. Like you don't want to be too results based, but like it's still just like stuff to consider because I mean you wouldn't quite have death cap yet, but you would probably get death cap right here on this buy. Yeah. Because it seems like in general you've done a decent job of positioning safely and dealing damage safely. So you might as well just go for the maximum payoff for that, which would be the most damage possible, which would be death cap. Like if this game was even, like I was saying earlier, I think Zhonya's has a lot more value because your teammates could like fights could actually be somewhat fair, you know, but as it is right now, fights are not very fair because that Yasuo is super strong, that Udyr is super strong, and whether or not you have that stasis, I don't think it makes the difference. I think it's just the damage that makes the difference this game. I mean, it's a really hard game to win, but I definitely wouldn't be giving up on this one yet. Full Morello is like decent, but I'm not sure if you. It looks like you might either that or it looks like you might get Void. Void would be better than Morello, I'd say here. But I mean, Morello's fine against this team, especially with Yasuo being as strong as he is and having Conquer. And most Yasuos take some of the healing runes like Ravenous Hunter and I think some of them take Bloodline. What were you gonna say? Oh yeah, yeah, it's pretty significant this patch. Yeah, I mean your team just wants to clear waves, not get poked. Definitely don't get hit by a knockup. I think you should be actively trying to clear this wave more. Like as it comes closer to tower, you should start queuing it. Just to get the wave dead. You don't have to worry a ton about the last hits, but the tower damage is really important. That was pretty bold walking up there. Gragas could definitely kill you. Like you don't have flash. If he just throws ult and knocks you up, then Yasuo can kill you. I'm fine with like you like pushing your limits though and like going for a Q like that. Just know that Gragas definitely could have killed you there. Like with Yasuo's help. Yeah. And now he throws it, but that didn't really pay out very much. So at this point, you're just thinking like, how can I get a good WE combo? And there's only a couple of ways. Like either somehow you get like vision on someone who is like, you know, like over the wall here outside of your base, and you combo them and kill them, or a charm like that could work. I mean, that was the other thing I was gonna say was like your CC on your team is pretty good. It seems like Rise has never been going for EW, so that's really sad for you. If you have a Rise like that in your game, you know, tell them to EW someone and then you can W them because it's 1.5 seconds root. And it doesn't. Okay, Udyr has Merc Treads. He's the only one. So that's plenty of time for you to follow up. That's understandable that you're not in position for that because he could just tornado before. Like he could have gotten ult on you. If he does that though, then you have Zhonya's. I mean, in this case, you have Zhonya's. Like normally, you know, like I was saying, it would be nice to have a full damage item. But since you do have Zhonya's, you could have walked up more for this. Like even if he knocks you up, you're not gonna die instantly, and you would have time to Zhonya's, and then your team would probably be able to kill him or come close to it. Yeah, another thing is you're not going for the max range. This is where Indicator would help because you could probably be right here and clip him with a max W. So you could be back a little bit further. Use range indicators, practice. So like you could do this for like a couple minutes in practice tool, and I'd say it'd be sufficient. Like just practice like clipping like the dummies or put a bot in and practice clipping it with the edge of your W from max range. Because when you get this CC like this and you're Taliyah, this is like the golden opportunity for you. Yeah. It's always more difficult to talk about macro from behind than it is from ahead. Because at this point, yeah, you guys just have to turtle, wait for Yasuo to mess up. And even then, the rest of their team is really strong in comparison to yours. Like, that guy's level 16, Yasuo's level 16. Most of your team right now is level 12. So yeah, it comes down to like Ari needing to get some crazy charm or some crazy Nico ult needs to happen. It's a tough game. Oh, and that Udyr, did he get adaptive? No, he got Wits End. Okay. I was gonna say adaptive helm is one of my most hated items as the champions I play. Yeah. I play a lot of Cassio, a lot of Syndra. I mean, of course, in the past, a lot of Taliyah. Don't play her as much anymore because she's a little less of a mid lane champion. She can definitely be played mid, but and this is a really sad spot to be in. Yeah, they have so many champions that are good against Taliyah, like Echo. Echo's brutal for Taliyah. But yeah, Udyr is like, what I would say is like it sucks, but I think you guys should just go kill the Udyr here and make it a 4v5 because it's so unlikely you get this dragon, and it's so likely that you die if you try to. I guess there is the argument that like if you don't get this dragon, you lose anyways. Yeah, it's a tough spot. But yeah, this is another situation where Zhonya's didn't really do anything for you. It's not like Deathcap would have done anything for you either here, but yeah. Do they not end the game here? I can't help but notice that there's still 5 minutes left. Yeah, they're looking for the kills. They're going for the KDAs. Wow. That Elder. Okay, I was like, wait, I was like, how did you die? But yeah, it's the Elder Dragon buff thing. What? Is it? Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I think they hot fixed it. Yeah. Yeah. That definitely didn't seem like 20%. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, looks like there's not much to talk about from here. But yeah. Yeah, so what are your thoughts or like any questions or any timestamps you want to go back to? Anything else you want to look at in this game? Yeah. Um, let's see. Part of it, this isn't really early game, but that efficiency thing where I mentioned red buff and then going and clearing your camps, that whole kind of like segment would really help. Uh, it seems like in general, I feel like you should hit the enemy tower less. Oh, right here, pushing this wave would be really good because it not only benefits you, like it gives you that golden XP, but it benefits your bot lane as well. There's another instance where I think you should have pushed the wave. Oh, this is so sad. Just watching this back, this death. So I mean, since I'm not a jungle expert, it's like I'm trying to think about like pathing stuff that could have happened. But it seems like going top here is good. Like, you know, you could go clear like Wolves Gromp. But I mean, this Udyr is just begging to be killed. And then you recall right away, which is good. If you're gonna do this, you should clear your Krugs first. That way you can just like do your Krugs, then do your red, then do your Raptors. It's like slightly more efficient, clear wise, pathing wise. Because you know you don't want to go mid for this Yasuo just based on that, you know, those first 2 deaths that Ari had. That is a lane you want to steer clear of. Let's see what happens here. You kill Echo again. Take Gromp. This is good. That's really good stuff right there. This whole thing. I guess one thing about this is like, no, never mind. You're good. You did this pretty well. Although, one really minor thing is you should wait for Nico's root or her stun to hit here before Wing, because he could have dashed your W. And he probably still dies, but whatever. It's a minor thing. So right here, this is something that cost you a little bit in terms of getting ahead. Staying and hitting this tower. We already kind of mentioned that, but it's like the little things like that, like going and taking your Krugs here. Those sorts of things add up. Right here. I mean, even if you're like, so yeah, where did we see Gragas somewhere? Like, or did you just walk in and check if the Krugs were up, and then they were up and you took them? Because right here, I feel like you could clear, like you might as well just clear this side. Like Wolves Gromp, then go for Krugs. I feel like part of this is you just like thinking, oh, Gragas took my blue, I want to look for him real quick. Yeah. I see. Because all this time, you could have done this exact same thing and cleared Wolves and Gromp in the exact same amount of time while also still taking these Krugs at some point. Because like you could still walk into these Krugs a little later because Rise is pushing, Yasuo showing mid. Oh, I didn't even notice this earlier. That's sad. Didn't manage to kill that. Yeah. I was just thinking, was this the time when I was talking about going for the red? No, it's a different time. Yeah, so this whole time your Wolves and Gromp have been up. Yeah, I mean, forcing a flash is good. I mean, as a jungler, forcing a flash should be seen as an investment. It doesn't actually get you anything. It's like getting the kill or like forcing them out of lane that actually gets you something. I think the red was... So like right here, we're coming up on 14 minutes. Yeah, this was another thing where right after this gank, you could clear all the way down to your Krugs, or you could just clear your top side because you haven't cleared your top side in a while. Instead of hitting that tower, I would say, yeah, be more selfish as a jungler. Don't hit the tower so much. Just go like clear the wave, go clear your camps, maybe counter jungle a little bit if you see the opportunity for it. That'll help you to get bigger leads and extend your leads. Be more selfish. Yeah, because right here, pretty much this whole time, you end up not really doing much. And I understand, like, you were probably wanting to contest the dragon, but just given the way that, given how strong Yasuo is, it's just not very possible. Even if, like, your Rise has TP, he has no mana. I mean, there's just a lot of things. And I think this is the point where I said you would have been 2 full levels up on Yasuo if you did clear, or Gragas, I mean, if you did clear that stuff. So that's pretty big. And not only that, but your camps would be respawning. Like, so right here, you would have been recalling, heading back topside, and you could do, I mean, you would have options. You could do Rift, or you could do Gromp Wolves. Like, you could just clear all the way back down. So it's like, I kind of get why you want to be bot here, but it's sort of like risk versus reward. Like, you have guaranteed gold and XP at your camps, while like bot lane here, you have maybe a counter gank that might not even work out because Yasuo could be nearby. So it's just like, it's really risky, I would say, to stick around bot and look for something here. And I'm not saying to be totally risk averse, but I think just try to be more selfish in general with the way you jungle. I think it'll help a lot with like getting a bigger lead and maintaining it. Another thing I will say is it's really hard to like 1v9 with Taliyah. With a lead, you know, you can get a lot done. You can do a lot of damage. She's like decent at team fighting, but because of how long her W and E cooldowns are and like the nature of her worked ground, and like also how much she struggles when someone gets on top of her, like, I mean, especially against this sort of team comp with Yasuo, Gragas, Echo, champions with good gap closers and like just like a lot of damage, it's really hard as Taliyah to hard carry unless you manage to get like picks and stuff. Like, if you control vision around objectives and like you make something happen, like let's say like with your sweeper you end up going for something in their jungle, like you see one of their buffs is spawning and you know Yasuo isn't nearby, that could be an opportunity to look for a play. It's kind of hard to like describe this, but this is also the sort of game where you should probably just focus on keeping your lead over Gragas, because you definitely had a lead over Gragas, like keeping it and making it a bigger gap. And that's mainly just going back to that clearing efficiently stuff and trying to waste as little time as possible. But I'm trying to think of other stuff. Does that kind of answer your question though? For like, you said you wanted to know more about like transitioning your lead. Sometimes in games like this where your team is really struggling, it just becomes like really difficult to transition your lead because of how strong like that enemy Yasuo is. But just like being as strong as you can by like staying efficient and clearing your camps can help a lot with transitioning your lead once you do find an opportunity where you win a fight. Like, let's say if you didn't use that E, like right here, and you have W, you know, you go for a WE, maybe you get a big chunk down on these guys, and maybe you kill one or two. Yasuo could have potentially died. And you guys would be winning this fight, and these guys would have to back off, and you could push mid, and you could get tower, and maybe tier 2. Like, something as simple as not using your E on this echo here could have made a big difference when this fight happens. Like, it's stuff like that that adds up, you know? League, I think, is really all about just like getting small advantages and making them into bigger advantages over time. Like, even if you do have a lead, it's really hard to just like blow up in the game, you know? Like, it's kind of just like you're slowly progressing yourself to that point where the enemy team can't really come back, or the enemy team is like getting destroyed by you because you're so strong. But yeah, I guess I just find it really difficult to explain exactly how to transition your lead, especially in a game like this where you're so behind as a team. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I might have already said it in this sort of way, but just being as strong as you possibly can is the best way to try to get your team back in the game. And, you know, to do that, you just want to do stuff that's consistent and efficient, like clearing your camps and being really aware of where the Yasuo is and avoiding him. Yeah. Because just looking at this, I feel like you could have been level 13 at this point if you were really efficient. And that's like a huge difference. Or I mean, I should say if you were more efficient. Like you did a decent job with efficiency, but it's just like there's more that could be done. Any other questions or thoughts or things you want to check out in the game? All right, cool. Well, hopefully that kind of stuff helps. I mean, good. Good. Yeah, I guess that's about it. I was trying to think if I had any other homework to give you besides just like practicing this W for max range. Yeah, hold your smite. You know, that thing's your firstborn child. Keep it around. And yep, F keys for sure. Yeah, I mean, especially if you're not in comms with your teammates and you're just like only focusing on yourself clearing the jungle, you're probably missing out on lots of opportunities. Or even just information. Like, it doesn't have to translate into you getting a gank and getting a kill, but just knowing stuff can let you make more like educated decisions, more informed decisions. But yeah, I think that's about it. So I think overall you did like a pretty good job this game, but in order to hard carry, you just have to do the things. And I'll post this on I'll post this on YouTube, and I'll give you the link. And hopefully these comments will help too as reminders. I guess I didn't leave too many, but yeah, man. If you ever have any questions too, always feel free to just message me on Discord, or if you have another replay you want to upload to like Insights, maybe we could go over that one, maybe in a little less depth because I know this was kind of a long session. But yeah, all right, man. Well, have a good night and good luck on improving. See ya.